So
Just started the recording.
okay, like was it 2014, Steve, when we were down to 4 members?
Probably.
It was something like that, but we're kind of starting to go down that direction again, and you know, it's kind of, we had a lot of money in the treasury. So just as background, Steve and I, and maybe Don Christensen, who was it? Steve, Neil, Neil, and maybe one more. We were down to 4 members basically, and we were saying, okay, you know, maybe it's time to fold. This club's been going around for 40 plus years. It's like 45 now, and Neil said, "How much money's in the treasury?" And whoever the treasurer said, "Oh, we probably got about $600." And he goes, "I'd hate to see that money go to international." And so let's see what we can do to keep the. That was the reason to keep the club alive. There's Ann.
Hey, Ann's here.
And so, with that, then the strategy was contacting Gina, Steve Hendricks, Christy, people who had been members. And the selling point was, yeah, we, you know, if we do it every other week, then you guys can continue to attend. And then we built up their base, and we actually made a couple years as a club, a distinguished club. But now we're kind of losing interest again, and it's hard with COVID and stuff. Gina's gone to Idaho, but she's still here.
Thank you so much, Gina.
Omega's got a new, has to move twice. And do you have, is it a new job too, or is it the same job?
Yeah, I'm the same job.
Same job, but there's transition through there, right?
Yeah, well, we're a startup, so yes, it's changing projects every week.
Projects. Elise, is she still in South Carolina or somewhere?
I believe so.
She's
North Carolina, I think.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so we're kind of in that, it seems like we're in that stage again of trying to figure out how we can do this. And then, you know, having the same core group serve as officers. I mean, we had Omega step up, that was good. We had Elise step up, that was good. But I don't know, what are we going to do for officers? And Neil seems to be losing interest. He doesn't like, I don't think he likes the Zoom thing. And he doesn't like pathways. And I think Tony, he spent a year, or was it maybe even 2 years as president. That's what happens when you spend years as president, then you kind of burn out a little bit. Hi, Ann. Ann's back, which is good, but Ann took a little hiatus. And so, I don't know. I mean, any ideas on officers and going forward? And, you know, if we can, to keep Gina going, we'd have to have some kind of hybrid model going forward too. Hybrid.
Yeah, I vote for a hybrid model somehow, because if we can go back to in-person meetings, that'll probably bring back more members and attract more members. And then, you know, if we keep on with Zoom, so as long as we have an internet connection, we could definitely do something hybrid where we have an in-person.
I agree with that. I think Zoom is what's causing a lot of people to lose interest. It worked for a while, but I think we're all getting kind of burnt out on it. At least I am. And
yeah, I am, definitely. No question. And I think that coming back in person is really going to help reignite interest. But Gina, how do you feel about attending by by Zoom if the rest of us are in, or if a large group is in person? How does that work for you?
Well, I have 2 thoughts. You know, one is that we meet 2 times a month, and so we could meet in person with or without technology 1 time a month, and then the second meeting of the month, make that a Zoom. So that way it would actually decrease my burden of having to attend 2 meetings a month. Because right now I'm just with the state of my health and being a COVID long hauler, I crash 3 times a day still. And I was hoping that the second vaccine would alleviate that, but it really hasn't. So I'm kind of exhausted. So, and I know that I'm not the only officer who's exhausted. So it would help me if I actually had one less meeting to do per month. And we can decide. I kind of looked into technology that it's sort of a plug and play conference room type device. And all it does is really amplify the audio, because as long as there's at least a Mac or a PC at the meeting room, you can just plug that into anything. It's plug and play. There's nothing to install necessarily, and it just makes it audible for anybody else in the room. My church had actually attempted to do a Zoom meeting in an in-person venue without that technology, and it was a disaster. I couldn't hear anybody in the audience. It was kind of a waste of my hour. So I don't want to have that. I would rather have one less meeting per month that I have to commit to. You know, and we previously, before the pandemic, didn't have any Zoom. So, I mean, I'm fine with just going back to one Zoom meeting a month.
Okay.
With the equipment, what pricing, since we have more than $1,000, we probably have $1,200 in our account is my guess. I don't know what Steve Hendricks is, you know, he's the treasurer right now, but is that equipment affordable, or we just buy it from our you know, this plug and play device? Can we buy
Yeah, it's something like $35. It's crazy cheap.
that? $35.
Oh,
Yeah.
We can afford that. I
I
think.
too.
So, but then you would have to have someone kind of administer, or go in, bring their laptop, and then try to have the camera focused in a way that they can see the speakers or something.
Well, I would just recommend putting the laptop, you know, in the front, you know, on the podium, because that way, you know, if everybody comes to the podium, as long as that device is plugged in, like you'll see the speakers, you'll see, you know, even the tabletop speakers if they come to the front when they're speaking. So yeah, the biggest hurdle that I've seen with hybrid meetings is the audio.
Okay, so the audio is just a plug and play speaker or something, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it just, but you do have to have a laptop. I don't know if it'll work with a cell phone. So that's kind of like, you'll have to prepare. You'll have to have at least one person with a laptop in the room. But if I remember correctly, and I have no idea if Schwab is letting, you know, in-person meetings back, but if they are, I mean, that's a smart room. So I don't really know, but the devices, I'll put the link in the chat as soon as I look it up. It's crazy cheap, and it doesn't seem like it's that. I mean, I've never used it personally before, so I wouldn't be the person setting it up, but as far as I know, you just plug it in.
Okay.
So it would put a little bit more burden on the sergeant at arms, I think.
Well, do we know if we can even get in Schwab?
I really don't know. I honestly don't know, because banks are sort of still very much kind of doing cautious stuff from what I can tell. So somebody would have to call.
Okay.
I just looked it up. It's $26.99. It's incredibly affordable.
Well, what I could see is actually having a, you know, your plug and play speaker, because I actually have a plug and play speaker for a laptop that I had, an older laptop that was dying, and it works pretty well, plus a plug and play video camera that you could just attach to the top of the podium. And then the laptop itself would face the audience where you can see you guys. Maybe that's how we would do it. But again, there's some effort I mean, it can be done, but then that way we can see you, and then you would see whoever's at the podium. So the camera's facing at the top of the podium or whatever, and then we see what you're doing, assuming you want us to. So.
Well, I mean, it's $26. I don't think we really have anything to lose to try it.
Right. Well, I mean, the cameras are cost a little bit more, but we could even buy a camera. But then you have to have someone kind of hold on to it, be the person bringing the laptop or whatever.
Or just have a stand or something like that. Like what I use for my camera, and actually the laptop, if you have a laptop with a built-in camera like mine, you don't need an extra camera.
Well, my point though is that then your camera would be pointing. We can't see you on the screen. I mean, the audience could see you on the screen if we have the camera, a camera with a plug or a cord that goes and extends so that's pointed to the podium, whoever's speaking, but the laptop itself, the screen of the laptop is facing backwards towards the audience so we can see you. That's kind of what I was.
Got it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm thinking if we do hybrids, right? Because I attend a lot of meetings, and if the group is physically there, then we just have a camera at the front of the room, and we just see people sitting at a table. So maybe if we're going to do a hybrid, we can just say, okay, you don't have to come forward. We'll just stay in view of the camera, wherever that may be. That the camera can be at the front of the room. So that might be something to consider.
I'm a little confused about what everybody's definition of a hybrid is, because I work for an educational firm and we do seminars throughout the United States, and we work with Fortune 500 companies, and when we talk about hybrid, we're talking in terms of we're going to continue to do Zoom sessions and periodically do live sessions. So when you talk hybrid, what exactly are you saying? Are we still going to do Zoom sessions and then do live sessions and then film them, or what?
So my thoughts on that were we can have the in-person meeting if we are available, but those that are not here, like Gina and Elise and whoever else is not in Reno, can join the in-person meeting via Zoom.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so we're going to go back to live sessions, and then the people who can't attend here locally, we're going to Zoom them in.
Or other people who want to, or other people who can't make it in person, they can always link in also.
Okay.
So there's audience members live, and then there might be participants by Zoom, all in the same meeting.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, and what about those days? Hopefully it won't happen, but where people just want to attend by Zoom, and there we all are Zoom in the Schwab room by Zoom. I guess we'd have to get commitments from certain people to attend. I don't know.
Well, that's why I suggest doing it every other. Like only doing kind of like the technology on maybe the second meeting of the month, and do the in-person, the first meeting of the month with or without technology. Because if the technology is, so difficult, whether or not we have the budget, like if we don't have somebody in the room ahead of time setting up the technology, it's going to be one more stressor for our club where, look, we're losing a president, we're losing a treasurer, we're losing a VP membership. So, we don't really want to add any more stress points on our officers or the club in general. So, I mean, I would even opt to just have one Zoom meeting a month, and then the other one with or without.
I think we still need to do the Zoom meetings, because I don't think that they're going away, and people still need to work on their skills with Zoom meetings.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's actually pretty valuable having this meeting format, because we use it every day.
I'm wondering, has anybody talked to other club members? Is anybody keeping tabs on what's happening with other clubs? I know one club, I think it might be Downtowners, they're back in person, but you had an option of attending by Zoom or by phone. Does anybody know what the general trend is on that? See if we can get some ideas.
No,
That's a good
I mean,
idea,
I
but
know
I
the
haven't-
advanced club, we're going to vote. I think the last meeting we had, and I think Rick was there, I can't remember, but we agreed. Most of the people, I was surprised, said, yeah, we want to meet back in person. And our venue is available at the church. The church is actually using it for live meetings. And therefore, I think our club, pending this vote, we're going to go live, I think, next month. Rick, I don't know what you think, but that's what it seemed like to me.
I got the feeling that Russ really was pushing for a hybrid, because I think he was still, although I don't know, maybe he's, because I don't know if he's got the vaccine or not. Okay, so I don't know.
But the hybrid implies that a live portion, right? I mean, it implies we're having live and the Zoom
I'm sorry,
component,
you're right.
right?
Yeah, no, I had the impression that, I'm sorry, I was confused thinking that it was going to go all live as opposed to hybrid live.
Right. Okay. So anyways, to answer your question, Lynn, that's where we're going. So maybe other clubs are indeed going that way. You know, what about Washoe Express? I'd be curious about them. They're a pretty big club, but I don't know them.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know. I'm not sure what they're
I think
doing.
we can ask Nancy. She's pretty active in that club. Nancy Potts.
Oh, Potts, true. Good point. Yeah, just a quick email. She could tell us.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's just it's hard to get motivated on these things right now.
Yes. Yeah. Summer is in full swing and people are traveling, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I think there is that, but I also think this is a Washoe Zephyrs issue. I mean, I've been part of this club for 14 years, I think, and we've had the issue with or without a pandemic, with or without Zoom. I mean, if you're not constantly adding new members for the retention that we're losing, you're always going to have this kind of critical moments of truth, point where like, well, the club's dying, are we going to let it go or are we going to continue building it? So, I mean, we're going to need 7 officers who are participating if we, want to kind of do this step, because I think it's going to take, especially if we're doing any kind of hybrid technology, to get Zoom in an in-person meeting. It's going to be one more thing, one more task that we have to do to prepare. And our club, we do everything on the fly. So, this is going to take a little bit of planning in advance.
Well,
Yeah, well, Rick, I know that you were the leader, or one of the main leaders, because it was just when I was joining the club, which was around 2015, I think. And you really got the club back, and Neil arranged for the plaque for you to thank you so much for bringing the club back. So, and that's what you were saying earlier in the meeting, that we kind of have a history, and what Gina's saying, there's a history. So, but back then we didn't have the technology Zoom issue. It was just reinvigorating the old members and bringing in new members. And so, but this seems different, right?
It's a little different because I don't have the energy to do that again.
Right.
I'm hoping other people can help that. I know Steve spent 2 years as president. Ann was VP of Ed for a long time. Gina's been officer forever. Steve Hendricks has been treasurer forever. I did send emails to Christy and Oliver and Ray. Well, actually, not even Ray. I know Ray's kind of out for a while. Ray was president for a couple of years in the earlier 2000s.
I don't know Ray. And Tony.
Tony, yeah, Tony had not been an officer for a while. I mean, he came back, and then he went ahead and served as the president for a while and did a good job. And we got some new blood, Omega and Elise. But Elise's moving, Omega's got a lot of stuff going on her plate, and so what's always been the challenge is when we get new members is trying to get them groomed to be an officer.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
honestly really disappointed when I got the email from Teresa Holbrook saying,
Right.
oh, well, I really need in person now because like she won best speech last time we met. Just like she seemed to be making good momentum, to all of a sudden just kind of ditch the effort. I felt like it was a little bit,
Right, and then
Yeah.
a little bit
Well,
uncalled for. I don't know.
But I think her point, what I read in her email, maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought she said she lives in Carson now.
yeah,
She does. Yeah, she does live in Carson. So she was going to go find, an in-person club in Carson.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we've had younger, newer members like Nicole Dennison, and then she got a job that was too far to commute and kind of has fallen off the map. And we've had people come and then they kind of fall, like Pam Fox, we thought we could get her to do. And now she's got, so it's always that challenge of trying to get some other people to do the leadership part of it. And it's harder once you've paid your dues to go back and do it again. That's why Neil will never be an officer again. And it seems like we've lost a lot of interest from him altogether. He's kind of fallen off. Tony's kind of fallen off a little bit. I thought it was a
And
really
what-
big win to get Ray. Now, I know you haven't met Ray Burnett. Ray Harper Burnett was a really good speaker, good competitor, had been the president. And then she had to go dark for a while because her husband had dementia or Alzheimer's, one or the
Oh,
other.
Oh,
And
dear. Yeah.
He passed away a couple years ago, so we were trying to softly get her back in, and she has joined on paper, but it seems like she's got some other priorities and really hasn't, gotten back into it. Anne was actually the one suggesting that if we get Ray back, that it'd be helpful because she was all in when she was in, but I don't think, she's not all in anymore. And we have Oliver. It'd be nice to have Oliver as an officer, but I'm not sure. Christie's never served as an officer, and
I think Christie's been president. I think that's Christie's been president.
She has not.
Yeah.
No,
Christy was-
I don't think
I
so.
remember a time when she was president.
Oh, maybe you're right. Do you remember that, Steve? don't think so.
Vaguely. I don't remember.
I think
but
she
it might have
served
been
as an
before my
officer,
time.
but not as president. I don't think she ever served as president, but maybe. Because she was doing the KTMB deal, and so she didn't want the heavy responsibility. I know that she was on as an officer for a little bit, but the two main roles are president and VP of Ed, and then we just got to have someone collect the dues and secretary. I guess it's 4 roles, really.
Well, the treasurer position, I mean, with Steve having it set up for, for the auto pay, over your phone, that makes it a lot easier for everybody. You just click on Zelle and you pay and you're done.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest headache being treasurer, was collecting dues and getting checks. And now that you have Zelle, that makes it a lot easier. So
Yeah.
the treasurer's job is like, now with Zelle, maybe 2 hours, twice a year.
Right. Well, you were the treasurer when it was harder.
Yep.
I'm kind of, I wish Elise were here too to provide some input, because Omega, you're the only one for the young folks.
Not that young.
Well, the newer members, you're still younger than
We're young.
everyone in the room. Actually, Gina's the youngest. Never mind.
I feel old.
Childbirth will do that.
Yeah. So what, I mean, let's kind of switch gears, what do we, because I know Omega, you've served VP Ed a long time. I think in the past you were interested in being president.
Huh?
Is that still,
No, I think Rick voluntold me into that role. I don't think I ever said I wanted to be president.
I had a recruiter to be VP of Ed.
is there anyone here who would want to be president? Because Lisa's, she said she's leaving the club.
Oh, did she say that?
Yeah, she said that in the officer's email. She's starting her master's program and she won't be able to stay in.
Yeah.
So really the only long distance members that I see on the roster are me, Nicole Thompson Andrews, who's in, gosh, I think she's in Greensboro or something like that. And then there's Christy, who's in Turkey right now.
But how long is she going to be in Turkey? Is she coming back or is she?
I have no idea. I haven't been in touch with her.
Before Christy left, she told me she was coming back. I said, we're not going to lose you. And she said, no, I'm coming back. But she also said that she thought she'd be able to attend some of the meetings, Zoom or in some fashion. So I don't know. Has she made any attempts to do that?
She gave a speech from Turkey. So she gave at least one speech from Turkey.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, no, I remember that speech.
Yeah.
I remember
that.
It's tough. I know. And I think I was thinking about stepping up for treasurer. I just got on another board. I've got big obligations on the neighborhood mediation center board there. And we've just got a bunch of stuff going on, but I think that I'd be happy to step up and do the treasurer position.
That would be very helpful.
That's good.
Yeah, I haven't used Zelle. Just wasn't comfortable with that, but I can figure it out.
That makes it so easy. Switch, Steve you'd have to go down to the bank and switch the bank account over to you. But yeah, having that Zelle feature makes it so easy, Lynn, because the hard part was collecting the checks and nagging everybody to pay you the checks and needing them and all this other stuff. But if they can pay through Zelle, then yeah, it will be very easy.
Then through Zelle, it's just like any online bill payment. They just send it right to the account, and I just monitor it and make sure that it's been received, and then
I think
contact those who. Okay.
Steve had it set up to go to his personal one, so you'd have to talk to him to see what would be best.
Yeah, I always Venmo'd Steve. So, that I would assume that would
Or
go to
Venmo,
his personal account.
whatever,
and
whichever
then-
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used Venmo
Yeah,
as well. Venmo.
So I'm assuming he went to his personal account and then he managed it so that he would account for my dues and put it in the Toastmasters account. So
Oh, that no.
I think if you're,
I don't think I'd be comfortable with that coming into a personal account at all. Just because we had a major identity theft issue. I would want to keep all of our personal stuff away from that. It took us years to straighten it out. It was awful. So I kind of imagine this coming directly into our Toastmaster, our Zephyr account. Wouldn't that be able to work? Just
if you could set it up with
Venmo or
Zelle.
Zelle right into the account. That makes it clean and no other issue.
Yeah,
You
I don't
definitely
see
set
why
up the
not.
account that way. Yeah. But yeah, you'd have to manage all of that. So it's really up to you. If you're the treasurer, you can. Yeah, all you gotta do is just create a new account and point it to the club's bank account, and you're ready to go.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe Steve can help me set that up. I think I can figure it out. And we just collected dues. When would the next dues be? What's the next due
September.
date?
September. I think it's September 1st. It's not for a long time.
Okay. Oh yeah, God, and I remember Steve had, because we had $40 checks and $50 checks, and he had to clean up all that too. Anyway, I can talk to him.
So we've got one officer volunteered. What about,
I'm happy to stay on as secretary, but I just don't have bandwidth at this point to do this again.
yeah.
Oh, we hear you,
So
Rick. Yeah.
treasurer, secretary, I'm currently VPPR, helping Teresa Holbrook, who was VPM.
Right.
So, I'm fine staying with that, but then the question is who's, Omega, like, are you still able to do VP Ed, or is that?
Yeah, I'm just very distracted right now and can't focus. So that's kind of why I've been doing such a horrible job. I was hoping you guys would fire me.
Oh.
Would there be
Yeah, so-
another
We'll give you a
officer role
raise.
you would want to do? Because I know
How
you did
about we give you a
PR, you
raise?
did,
Yeah.
I mean, there's some that are less intense. There's, VP PR didn't take a lot of time from you. There's, VP membership is intense right before June 30th, because that's the only time where our membership numbers matter for the DCP. But at this point, I just looked up our report. We've got 16 and we need 20. So I think it's a long shot. We're already on the 17th of June. So I think we should let the DCP go this year. Honestly, I think it's going to be too stressful to try to get the membership back up.
Well, we're losing more is what it sounds like. Elise is off.
We're going to lose 3. Yeah, we're going to lose Teresa, we're going to lose Pam, and we're going to lose Elise. So that's 3.
Oh, and is Brian Befford on that list? I saw an email from him this morning saying he's taking a break.
Yeah,
And
he was on the email stream, but he's not on our roster. He's not a current member, and I don't
he's
see
not.
him coming back. I think he's overextended.
Yeah, like the same
Well-
thing like with Paul Pentala when he was there. He would have been good, but he's now the head of Boy Scout something or another.
Oh,
Pretty
well,
high
my
up.
God, boys. Yeah. And Rick, poor Paul, he stepped into that horrible mess of the Boy Scouts and all the sexual harassment stuff. I mean, that must have been really, really difficult for him, overwhelming. So I never heard him discuss it at the club, but I think he really had his plate way over full.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that we'll get these really good high potential members, and then they have circumstances change where they either get a better job because they become better speakers and they get promotions, and then they can't be in the club anymore.
Yeah. Well,
I wish we could get Oliver in this meeting. He must have avoided my email. Because the president is just the figurehead that kind of starts things and delegates, and it's really the VP of Ed that's the most important job in my view. Usually, the president, just to be the role of the president is really to try to make every meeting and start it off and be the head and try
Right.
to generate energy. But really, then
Right.
the VP of Ed is very important. It's probably the most important.
Well, now, Rick, I'm just thinking, let's talk about that, because I was in Reno Downtowners years ago, long time ago. And the role of VP Ed was different. And I'm kind of hearing you say that the VP Ed is the one who sets up, like what Omega's been doing is send out the list, the roles and everything, but that task was for the Toastmaster. So the Toastmaster had the job of, knowing in advance they're the Toastmaster and making sure that the roles were filled.
Yes.
And that way it rotates. That way
Yeah.
it wasn't on the VP
Yeah.
of Ed every single time, which is a big job.
Yeah. I think
So
that
if you,
yes and no. I think that there would be like, some people will have like 3 months worth of schedules based on random assignments, random number generator or whatever. And then so whoever the Toastmaster is for that week should be the one who makes sure those people are lined up or get the substitutes, get at least the major roles filled. Now we've kind of gotten away from that over the years,
right.
but you're absolutely right. I wish we could do that more often, or at least try to instill that, but it's hard.
Right, but perhaps we could generate a little more interest in that position if we say, okay, and there is a rotating list of assignments as we've been doing, saying, okay, you're going to be the speaker in 2 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever. And that list is out there, but it's not the VP of Ed's job to make sure that it's also, it's the Toastmasters job. So I don't know, Omega, is generating the list, the rotating list, is that a problem?
It was more
I mean,
of getting commitment for people to actually give a speech.
That's
Because I would go do
that
my
was-
round robin and ask people, and they would say no, 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 maybe next time, and then
Right.
next time comes around and they say, wait a minute, I'm not ready yet. So that's
Yeah.
what made it difficult. I mean, I can just put names on there. I can do my random number generator, but it's the thing. It's like you said. I think that's the Toastmasters' job to say, hey, let's make sure you're ready for that role. If not, I, as a Toastmaster, need to find somebody else to fill that role before the meeting. So
Right. And
I think you're absolutely right.
Anne said in the chat that she will do VP Ed. So those of you who are on the phone, you can't see the chat, but she said she'll do it. So.
Oh, Ann.
Yeah, I just
Oh.
have an Excel spreadsheet I got from one of the trainings. And I think I have a short video, pretty much what I used to do when I was to take over from Nicole Dennison was just pull the names and emails, and then I randomly assign people. I didn't care if they showed up or not, because our club, there's always going to be someone, afraid of, I can't do it, I can't show up. So I wouldn't sweat after a while about who couldn't make it, as long as they had something.
Well, okay, so if Anne would do that, and then the only really responsibility after that would be for both the president and VP of Ed to contact the Toastmaster and say, hey, it's on you, get this going. But
right.
Right?
And that would, yeah, right, exactly, Rick. And make sure the Toastmaster has enough heads up, more than a day, to get everybody. And actually, I kind of enjoyed it when I was the Toastmaster, because that back then we were calling each other more
Right.
often. I was using the telephone, and I kind of enjoyed that outreach and talking to these members and saying, hey, are you going to give a speech? So, I mean, that part was fine. But, and this way, everybody's sharing the load of making sure that we have the roles filled, at least, most of the roles filled, at least, have an idea of speakers. But Gina's right. Somebody in our club is usually ready to pick it up and do a pocket speech or something. So, but I like that idea.
So we still have, I can take on VP membership back. I seem to have no problem with finding in the depths of my email former members to harass. So Bonnie Hansen did reply to one of my little pokes, and she said, oh, I see your baby pictures on Facebook, and I would love to. She lives in Mexico now, but
Yeah.
she could be one of our remote members, possibly. I mean, it seems like she's living the good life and has a little bit of free time. So, I did get a response from her. Every once in a while, I'll get a response from Ibis Ortiz. So, I don't mind, I've got years and years of Toastmasters emails, doing that. We would still need VPPR, and then we would still need Sergeant at Arms filled.
But do you actually need to fill those? I thought those minor roles we didn't necessarily need to fill, did we? I don't, when we were down to X number of members, I don't think we necessarily filled out all of the spots.
No, we
Right.
didn't.
And shaking her head.
Well, I think it's okay to fill them, and if you can't do it, you just don't do it. I mean, we've done that before. I mean, I just when I try to post the list, I put somebody, whether or not you can fulfill, fulfill the responsibilities is another.
Because then that requires those people that counts against our training goals if you
Right.
have it filled, right? If you don't have it filled, then we have less people to do the crazy 4 or 5 hour trainings that they still have.
If you have one person
Well-
that put into a couple of different slots and they go to training, then that satisfies your requirement.
Right.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. I like it. That's good. And speaking of
So I
training,
could do, since VPPR is pretty much very similar to membership, I could do both of those. And then we just have to fill Sergeant at Arms.
And you go to
Well, I
training,
can
we
do
get
that.
I
Right.
always go to training. I've been trained so many times. I could probably do the training.
You would do the training. Wait, Steve and Lynn.
Yeah.
Well,
both
training's
tried to say-
online though. Training's via Zoom, so it makes it a lot easier. I think Russ was saying they want to try and keep the training on Zoom because it offers, a lot more people seem to attend it.
Yeah, because they
Oh,
turn off
that's-
their,
that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, you can sit at your working desk during the training, get something really done, and then yet you still get credit for the training.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Because I went to one or a couple of trainings up at the university. I mean, really lengthy, just kind of an over the top as far as time was concerned to do that. I was VP PR. And I thought, really? I mean, couldn't we wrap this up in about an hour? And anyway, so I like the idea of being.
It used to be just an hour. I mean, I don't know why they changed it. It used to be just an hour commitment. I mean, I remember weaning Jacob from nursing. I was like, I had to pump, when I went to a training session.
Well, I know why they changed it. It was the top at the district level. The guy who was, Wes Johnson, had it in his mind that the materials required 5 hours of training, and it's like, what are you guys talking about? And so that was a big fight. I tried to make it a little easier, but yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 hours is like, no way can I get my VP of Ed, who was at that time Nicole, who just had a baby, to come and spend a Saturday 5 hours in a room with a
Right.
bunch of trainers. It's like, no way. You're and the numbers panned out showing that that they dropped the number of people taking trainings dropped like 50+%. Russ had all those numbers tied in, and it was just the craziest dynamic, but they're still doing it. But at least if it's by Zoom, you can just kind of plug it in and do some yard work or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Rick, can we report back and just say our club is still asking to shorten these trainings? And it's just one of the things that happened from my early years in Toastmasters. It just seemed like a simpler program. The training back then wasn't very long, and it was, it wasn't a job. I mean, the pathways and the training requirements. I mean, really, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's this is all volunteer, and it's for fun, and it's to share share some interest about speaking and doing all that. And I think they've just put too much of a burden on it. I think they have. I mean,
You're preaching to the choir, and Russ was the biggest
Yeah.
advocate. Russ was the biggest advocate for your position, Lynn, and he was the former, he was the former king up there, and nope, there was a whole bunch of groupthink saying we need to have these high quality trainings and it makes you better. It's like, not if you don't have members.
it doesn't. Right? It doesn't. No, it's too much. And I think that's one of the reasons. I remember Christy and we were at a training together up at the university, and we're both looking at each other going, you've got to be kidding. And then I think some international speech contest was going on. We were able to tune into that, but it was too much.
Absolutely. I agree.
So who can we?
I
who
agree
can we let-
too. So Steve Noonan,
can
are
we
you
talk?
able to keep doing Sergeant?
Yeah, I'll do Sergeant at Arms. I can continue doing that. I have a laptop if we go to the hybrid version with a camera, so I could bring that in. And then, you know, if we have the voice amplifier, whatever that thing is, you know, my laptop's relatively new, so we could plug it into that. So I can be Sergeant in Arms.
Okay, I mean, we can give it a try. I mean, it's worth a try. And if the amplifier doesn't really work, I'm sure somebody could just use it for a regular conference call. So it's only
Right.
$26. So I'll
Okay.
send, I'll post the new list. And I guess Omega, that means you're off the hook. Unless you
Wait,
want to take something
We,
else
we don't
on.
have a president yet, though.
Oh, we don't have a president. You forgot. Yeah. Do you want to be president? We'll just do all the rest.
Am I being voluntold to be the president?
It is
It's
a
the
natural
natural progression, of course.
it is a natural progression, but you actually do less work. Other than, you know, you
You
do,
do less work.
you are expected to attend just so you can know you're the face, but
Open the
I don't
meeting,
know.
yeah.
Open the
Yeah, okay,
meeting.
yeah, just throw that down and we'll
Oh my God,
see what happens.
Awesome.
Gina, you're
Yay,
sneaky.
thank you.
You're so sneaky getting Omega to do that.
It's the mom
Yeah,
and me.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Okay,
I want to do something, so I'll do my best.
Okay.
Hopefully my
You'll
life will
do
be
great.
it'll settle down a little bit and we'll.
That is
Great.
wonderful. Thank you so much, Omega. That's great.
Yeah, well,
That's
thanks
great.
to Anne
Thank you to
for
Anne.
stepping up because
Yeah.
Thank you,
You're my
Anne.
hero.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I do want to make the comment that I will be traveling, maybe once every 3 months to Chicago, because we're going to start doing hybrid sessions where we'll have them in person. And so I don't know, that probably won't be till next year, but I want to, I may not be at a meeting or two. So I just want to let you know that I'll be,
That's fine.
I
traveling.
can always back you up if you need
Okay.
to,
But
like send out
is-
a tentative schedule. If you know, just email me to let me know. Because
Okay.
I've certainly done it many times over.
Is your
Yeah,
idea though, and if you do like a 2 or 3 month schedule, that, obviously it changes, but is that the idea, is that you do the 2-3 month schedule and then we just tell the Toastmaster a week in advance, get it together?
Okay.
I think it'd be very helpful if you just had a list of Toastmasters and said, okay, this is your day. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, shoot it back to the Toastmaster.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
most
I
of-
mean, I think that, when I look at the schedules, like in the other club, the first thing I do is scroll to see where I am, if I'm supposed to do anything, and then you change it. And so, I see, oh, I got a speaking role in a month. It's like, I don't want to do it. But then it's like, oh, well, maybe I can come up with some material. It does get you, if you're one of the regular members and you're seeing that you're on the speaker side, it gives them some prep time to try to do that, as opposed to just saying, hey, who wants to do a speech? No, they're on there and you're expected to do this.
And I actually unofficially got Nicole Thompson Andrews to volunteer to do a speech, not this next meeting, but the meeting after that. So she said she could. I just, the last time we were supposed to meet, where me and Nicole were the only people who showed up,
Sorry.
I just helped her prepare for the speech. And so she's ready now, ready or not.
Well,
She
that's
said
great.
she could do it. So we've got at least one speaker for our next meeting.
It's good.
Okay.
And I don't know,
All
I
right.
think maybe some calls to, I left a message with Ray. She left a message with me, or maybe she sent me an email and saying that she's got something for the next 6 months. So, same thing with Oliver. I mean, Oliver would be a great president, a great, face of the club if we could get him engaged. And I thought he
Yeah.
was still looking for a job, but maybe he got a job. So I don't know.
Well, his last speech was about becoming an insurance
Oh,
agent.
is it?
Or-
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And he's
So
been
he-
hitting up my LinkedIn profile about every week. So
Has he? Oh,
Okay.
good.
Yeah, me too.
What does that mean? I mean, what's he doing? Just,
He wants to
Just you-
sell you insurance.
I'm pretty active on LinkedIn because that's how I market a lot of my seminars.
okay.
And he's been hitting up my LinkedIn quite often. So
What kind is he doing? Did he tell you?
he's just looking. He's just looking. He's not doing anything. He's
He's
just
not
looking.
trying to sell you insurance?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, mission accomplished, Gina. Great job.
Thank you, Omega. I volunteered you with love.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, yeah, like as I said, I'll do my best. Again, so we are we're closing on a new house tomorrow, and like I said, we'll be spending
It
the next
sounds
couple
like
weeks
we're-
painting. So when we
Okay.
actually have
We're
to
gonna-
move, it'll be fun.
Have Vanessa send Sierra a text to say, hey, you want to help me paint? I bet you she would do it.
Yeah, because we got a big house to paint. So
Yeah. Now she might say, well, was it for free? It's like, it's your friend. Of course it's for free. But
yeah,
whatever.
you can hang out and talk about K-pop and whatever else he's really
Exactly.
into these days, and
Yeah.
just have a blast
Yeah.
with some paintbrushes.
With paintbrushes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well,
All right,
great.
well, I'll post the office list and then I'll just send out an email to the club letting them know we'll attempt next meeting, we'll have to wait for the little device to be ordered and added. I don't really know if Steve Hendricks can order it or, yeah, it would probably be easier if he could order it.
Should we wait until we can get confirmation from Schwab to see if we can do in-person meetings?
Yeah. I
We
would
got
say
so
we
much-
do
all that?
Omega.
We got
Yeah.
so much money. It's
Who
26
wants
bucks.
to, I mean, I have an account at Schwab, but I'm not local, so it's not like I can,
Who was our contact person at Schwab? Who got us that room?
Thought it was
I
Steve
don't
Hendricks.
remember.
I want to say it was Steve Hendricks. Yeah.
think-
Okay, well, maybe Steve can call for us. He knows who the contact person is.
Yeah, and then we can have them just go ahead and order this speaker thing. It's 26 bucks and we haven't spent any money in the club. We're just, and we're, gathering
No,
10
we're not.
bucks every 6 months from people, and then we haven't spent anything. Well, let's spend it on at least this. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not buying any pizza.
right, exactly.
We're not buying any
Okay.
pizza. That's right. I missed the pizza.
And
I've got to go.
All right, so,
I'm in San Diego and
Bye-bye.
see you
Thank
later.
you, Ann.
yeah.
okay, thanks, Ann.
Ann,
Bye. Thank you,
so much.
Ann.
Thanks, Gina.
All
All
right,
right. So,
Gina, who can reach out to Steve Hendricks? Or do you, I just want to confirm, Gina, that you're going to put that in. I guess if you just put it in the email and just say this is what happened at the meeting, and say, can Steve contact Schwab
yeah,
again
I'll
for
send
us?
him the link to buy the little device if he can, because if he can do that outgoing and then kind of set up, a time with you to transfer things over, that would be good. I'll copy you to that email. So,
Okay. And call Schwab.
And call Schwab. Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
Good work.
Lynn, do you want to
Okay.
be
I think
Toastmaster for the
Schwab
next
is-
meeting?
Wait, what was that?
Did you want to be Toastmaster for our next meeting next week? We got one speaker.
I'm out of town next week too, so I'm
I
sorry.
don't think it's the next meeting. I think it's the meeting after that Nicole can speak. So
Oh, okay.
not the 24th, it's the one after that.
Okay, well, anyway, okay, so the 24th. Do you want to be? So I still have to do the schedule for the 24th, so.
I'm out.
So
Sorry about that.
Omega, you're asking, does anybody want to be a
Toastmaster.
Toastmaster for next week?
Yes.
On the 24th, I can probably do it on the 24th. I've got other
Okay.
stuff that day, but it's later in the day. You can put me down for the 24th as Toastmaster. and
Okay.
I'll email people.
Try to
Thank you,
get
Gina.
speakers, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, good work.
All right.
And thank you everyone for showing up.
Yeah, thanks,
you.
Gina.
Well,
Appreciate it.
yeah,
All right.
Take care.
okay,
Bye.
thank you. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.